Hi again. As can be seen, black is playing up the board and is required to find the best winning move. Material is equal, but there is concern for white on the G1 to A7 diagonal. Black has two checking moves with his knight, but neither is of any use, since in both cases knight f3 or knight e2, he would end up a piece down, because if he went here, you could take with the pawn, not with the queen because it would be pinned. And if he went here, it could be taken with the bishop, again not with the queen for the same reason. So the knight would be lost. So that's no use at all. So in that case, what about a sacrifice? And it is a sacrifice. Can you see it? Right, the move that I found is rook takes f4. You're offering the rook. Just take a look at that. Should white accept this by going here, then the knight swings in there with double check. Just like that, and forks the king and the queen. So that would be no use at all. Moreover, and test this for yourselves by all means, no matter where the white queen moves, it is lost to knight forks. The one exception is queen e3, so I'll just demonstrate this. Now white does not subject himself to a knight fork there, but he still loses the queen. He loses it to knight e2 check. Now he can't take this knight with the queen because it's pinned, but he can take it with the bishop, but as soon as he does, the black queen recaptures. So white's queen looks as though it could well be lost. Given all that, can white save his queen? If not, the game? Well, yes, there's a sneaky move. Can you see it? So we've just played rook takes f4. How does white respond to that? He doesn't move his queen and he doesn't take the rook, which of course is a queen move, but none of that works, as we've just demonstrated. Well, the sneaky move is a5. And what this does is it's saying to black, well, if you take my queen on f2, I'll take yours on b6. And then there are all sorts of interesting variations. So clearly, if black moves his queen here to c5, b4. The idea behind 2a5 is trying to shift the emphasis away from the g1 to a7 diagonal that was referred to earlier. And so black is more or less forced away from the dark squares. So what does he do? Well, he takes the bishop. He gives up this diagonal. However, the knight here is covered by the rook. And should he play queen f4 now, he runs into the same knight fork. No, there isn't a double check, but there's still a knight fork, and he would be forced to move his king, and then black would pick up the queen. So that would be no good. So what happens now? Well, the best queen move there, and it has to be a queen move this time, because it's attacked, is no option, is to play queen e1. Just take a look at queen d2 for a moment, and we'll see what happens. Knight check. King here. Rook takes. Rook takes. Knight there. Takes the knight, takes the rook. And black is so much ahead of material that it's over and done with. So let's just put this back to the original position, and we'll try looking at that move that I mentioned, queen to e1. Just to remind ourselves of exactly what went on here. Okay, let's get that back. That's the original position. So it was rook takes f4. We agree that taking the rook or moving the queen is no good, so he plays a5. We agree that moving to c5 is no good because of b4, so we take the bishop. We also agree that taking this rook, he'd be back in the knight fork, and the queen d2 doesn't work. So try queen e1. What do we play here? Well, many would say, well, there's a nice opportunity here to fork the queen and the rook. The problem is he takes the pawn with check, and that just doesn't work out quite so well for black. So what is an alternative move after queen e1 instead of knight c2? Well, we're back with knight e2 again. Just fine. It's covered by the queen. So it's king h1. This doesn't work quite as well as when white plays queen d2, but it works well enough. Okay. So he plays queen f1. And probably black can allow himself here to play this. Right now he is 2 pawns and a minor piece up. The game might well continue something like this into here. And of course, what black would have in mind there is to wind things up eventually with moving rook f8. White could try something like this, thinking that possibly he can do something down here, but like I've just said, rook to f8 not only attacks the queen, but it protects the f7 square quite well. The queen might come here, eyeing over mate on g7 there. But I don't think that there's a major problem there, because probably you could get away with something like this. With the idea of perhaps eventually playing down here. Clearly, if the rook came here thinking that he's pinned it, then you could just go here and you're threatening mate in 2 moves. So really, that's not the right way for white to play. I think that black would certainly have a winning game then. That's been demonstrated. And quite an interesting end to this problem, which, as usual, I trust you enjoyed, and goodbye for now.